Don't fuck this up, kid. What more could a family guy ask for? Even my son done got it so good. But the idea that you walk in here and start to question my leadership right away is, quite frankly, out of order. Capiche? Shut up, you ungrateful bitch! I'll knock you into next week if I hear another word from you!
Oh, that's right, Big Dick. What are you gonna do, hate me?
Why, I oughta...
That's the only time you touch me these days.
Fuck me? Fuck you! In fact, everyone has! So we gotta use our heads. Or rather, one head. Your head. I'm asking you to destroy that spank factory as a personal favor to me, Salvatore Leone. We gotta help some guy make up his mind and improve a little messy.
Salvatore Leone, Don of one of the major Italian crime organizations of Liberty City, an unpredictable, paranoid, and vindictive man who has a lust for power, wealth, and respect. Salvatore was born in the Sicilian city of Palermo, an Italian island famous for its crime syndicate superpowers. Born in 1935, Salvatore would relocate his family, consisting of his wife and young son Joey, to the United States, though it's not entirely clear whether his son Joey was born in Sicily or the US. Unfortunately, at some point between Salvatore immigrating to America in 1992, Salvatore's first wife would die under unknown circumstances. Besides his son Joey, it is known that Salvatore has at least one brother, cousin, and an uncle that are involved in criminal activities. His cousin was killed by the Sindaco family, and his uncle holds a prominence amongst the Sicilian mafia. Salvatore and his uncle have a tenuous relationship. They would participate in a power struggle and street war over dominance for Liberty City during the 1980s, with Salvatore finding himself ahead by the skin of his teeth. At some point before 1992, Salvatore would expand his criminal enterprise to the West Coast and establish a Leone presence in the city of Las Venturas, opening up several casinos within the hedonistic city. Though Salvatore had competition, Sal would have to fight for power among the three other criminal organizations struggling for control over Las Venturas' gambling outlets. Not only was Salvatore facing against his fellow Italian families such as the Forellis and Sindacos, the Triads were also strategically planning to usurp the power of Sal and his Guido compadres. The Triads would successfully rob one of Salvatore's casinos, Caligula, with the assistance of one of Salvatore's close allies at the time, Carl Johnson, a name you may remember from the Catalina video. This betrayal would have a lasting impact on Salvatore. Not only did Carl work alongside Salvatore's son Joey in Liberty City, he also performed several favors for Sal, earning himself a level of rapport. Since this act of insubordinance, Salvatore Leone has been suffering from an overwhelming feeling of paranoia. The closer you get to Sal, the less he begins to trust you. While not all of Salvatore's paranoid concerns are unfounded, it clearly has a negative impact on his judgment and will lead him to betray those closest to him under the delusion that he is beating them to the punch. Not only paranoid, but Salvatore is also narcissistic and vain, demanding violent recourses to some of the most petty offenses. While Salvatore has many foot soldiers that are fatally loyal to him, Salvatore appears to only be loyal to himself. While GTA 3 heavily drew from many mobster movies, including Scarface, Casino, and Pulp Fiction, Salvatore was primarily based off Marlon Brando and The Godfather during the beta versions of GTA 3. With a prominent underbite and strong eyebrows, this version is still available to see alongside other beta versions of other characters in GTA 3 on a billboard within the game, and Vice City, advertising the Bad Fellas movie, an obvious nod to the Martin Scorsese classic, Goodfellas. As stated earlier, the beta version of Salvatore heavily resembles Marlon Brando's character, Vito Corleone in the Godfather film. But the parallels don't end there. Both Salvatore Leone and Vito Corleone are illegal importers of condiments. Corleone importing olive oil, and Salvatore smuggling tomato sauce. It has also been suggested that Salvatore is based off the notorious mobster John Gotti, with both of the thugs achieving dominance after a power struggle in the 1980s, as well as having avoided criminal charges several times with the competent defense of witty lawyers. While in Las Venturas, Salvatore would meet his soon-to-be second wife Maria, a waitress who worked at one of Sal's casinos. She immediately despised the man, but despite this, the two were wed shortly after. The couple returned to Salvatore's home in Liberty City, a place where the Leone family had a strong presence, but not for long. By 1998, Salvatore's paranoia had started to boil over and affect his decision-making. He became even more violent and unforgiving, even leading him to almost shoot one of his most loyal foot soldiers and future Leone caporegime, Tony Cipriani.
Well,
what?
don't play dumb with me, kid. I was playing dumb when your mother was still turning tricks.
What's your problem?
I know what you've been saying about me. You think I'm an idiot? Huh? Is that what you think?
Boss, I ain't been saying nothing about you.
What the fuck? I don't know what's happening to me. Jesus, I'm getting paranoid, Tony. Really fucking paranoid. Just because I think everyone hates me doesn't mean they don't. You know what I mean? Someone is out to get me. It's that fucking mayor. He's gonna blame me for all this shit that's been going down in the neighborhood. All of it. Not just the crap that I did, but all of it. Come on, let's go take care of this.
Around this time, Salvatore would find the Leone family forced out of their territories in Portland by the Sindacos, Forellis, and other up-and-coming gangs. Salvatore blames his loss in power on the Forelli-controlled mayor of Liberty City, Roger Hull. Salvatore sends Tony Cipriani to murder Hull while he was having a routine jog in the park. As reward for Tony completing the hit on Mayor Hull, Salvatore promoted Tony to a made man. A common feature of Italian organized crime, a made man is an official member for life, and no longer an associate of the mafia. Made men have special protections and privileges that foot soldiers do not. They also bear more responsibility, and typically must pay a tribute to their superiors on a routine basis. The tribute is typically a percentage of the money earned through each made man's various criminal activities. Salvatore attempts to have his puppet politician Donald Love elected mayor of Liberty City, but due to his connection with the Leone family mob, his reputation is tarnished and he loses the election to candidate Miles O'Donovan. Sal, being the vain narcissist that he is, blamed Tony for this failure and cuts off communication with him temporarily. This wouldn't last for long though, as Sal would find himself bankrupted of his $20 million fortune and in prison, facing substantial criminal charges. Realizing he had few friends left, Sal requested Tony disguise himself as his attorney, and through their consultations, Sal would give orders to Tony to carry out on the street, even going as far as to order the hit on the Sindaco family Don, Paulie Sindaco, from prison.
He's your lawyer, Mr. Leone.
I know who the hell he is, pal. Come on, give me a break here. Go ahead, kid, run along. Say hello to your mother for me, gabish?
You got 5 minutes.
Listen, Lionel, you're looking good. Look at me, a fine member of the community, and suddenly I'm banged up. It really challenges my philanthropic nature.
Of course, Mr. Leone, we're doing everything we can to get you out of here and, back to helping your community as soon as possible.
Of course, I hope we can sue someone for this outrage. Those cunts, the Sindacos, or those cocksuckers, the Forellis? Who was it? Who ratted me out? Let's hit them both hard. Way I see it, they both could use a good beating for this outrage. Motherfuckers!
It will be my pleasure.
Fortunately for Salvatore, he would eventually be found not guilty of his charges and would walk a free man. But his troubles were not over. Salvatore's uncle Leone from Sicily, who himself ran a powerful and respected Sicilian mafia, was coming to Liberty City to encroach upon Sal's territory. Uncle Leone would attempt to have Salvatore assassinated, but would not be successful. The Sicilian mobsters also kidnapped Mayor O'Donovan in an attempt to coerce him into corruption, but Sal would use this opportunity to kill the Sicilian gangsters and rescue the mayor, requisitioning the mayor's cooperation with the Leone family for the foreseeable future. Though Salvatore had foiled his uncle's plans, they were still able to make peace and move forward with their criminal enterprises. Over the next 3 years, Salvatore had faced trial another 4 times, winning each case in his favor. One of his most notorious trials was when he was charged with tax evasion, which was dismissed by the court after Salvatore's lawyer Maurice Goldberg contested to the court that Salvatore is dyslexic and struggles with filling out his taxes correctly. Ironically, Salvatore's most loyal soldier and arguably best friend Tony Cipriani would introduce Salvatore to the man that would ultimately end his life, Claude. Salvatore would employ Claude in different criminal activities for the Leone family after Claude had earned a reputation with Salvatore's associate and strip club operator, Luigi Gattarelli. Seeing the growing power the cartel is gaining with the money they are making off of their lucrative narcotics trade, primarily in the new drug craze, Spank, Salvatore would send Claude to destroy a tanker ship that served primarily as a manufacturing facility for the drug. Though Salvatore's paranoia would lead him to immediately strike a truce with the cartel. And after finding out that his wife Maria intends to leave him for Claude, Salvatore sets up a trap for Claude and attempts to have him assassinated. But Maria warns Claude of Sal's intentions, and the two escape to Staunton Island. It is this sequence of events that ultimately sealed Salvatore's fate. While seeking asylum from the Leone family in Staunton Island, Claude would begin to take criminal work from the Yakuza. The Yakuza leader, Asuka Kaisen, would order Claude to assassinate Salvatore Leone to prove that he bears no loyalties to his former employer.
Must prove to me that your ties with the Mafia are truly broken. Salvatore Leone will be leaving Luigi's in about 3 hours' time. Make sure he doesn't reach his club alive.
And on one fateful day, as Salvatore was leaving the Sex Club 7, he was gunned down by the man he employed and tried to kill. Salvatore lived by the notion that it was better to betray before you could be betrayed. But his delusions of conspiracy would only cloud his judgment and serve to make him more enemies than he already had. So it is no surprise that it all caught up to him one day. Salvatore Leone, Don of the Leone family, gangster of Portland, and now distant memory.